I'm going to show you how to machine piece hexagons. Now I've used my So Easy template and I've marked all the intersections. You can check out my tutorial on how to cut hexagons using templates, and it'll tell you how to do this. So what we're going to do now is sew this hexagon, and we're going to make a little bitty flower like this, or it's actually a big flower because these are 2-inch finished hexagons. And what that means is this one side, all of the sides are going to finish at 2 inches. So it's going to look something like this. And so let's take the first one, and this is going to be the center. So we'll turn this over and we're going to put right sides together. Put the pin here and then pick up the other one and just check and put the pin right through the center. Now you have those matched, and we don't want to leave the pin in the center. We'll leave the pin where it is now and move this over so we can straighten this whole thing. So now the one piece lays on top of the other. I'm holding my finger here to leave the fabrics in place, and I'm going to reposition this pin on either side of the marking because I'm going to stitch right up to the marking and I want the pin out of the way. And we're going to do the same thing with this side. So that one hits pretty nice. Alright, so let's put the pin farther away. What I'm going to do when I take this to the sewing machine is start stitching here, and I'm going to take a few back stitches and stitch all the way to this side and take a few back stitches. So we'll have the seam allowance open, and I'll do that and come back. Now here's my stitching. You see I took a few back stitches here and stitched all the way to the next point and took a few back stitches. Now we'll open this up, and you'll see that the seam allowance here is open. So we're going to open this up and fold these sides like this. And what we're doing, we're getting this out of the way on this side. We're going to sew the next piece here. So hold this up, find your point on the back and put your pin through it, and it should be right up against where it was folded. Take our next piece and then place this marking, place the pin right through the marking, and now reposition this. Hold this in place and then place the pin outside the marking. Do the same thing on this side. Now we have our points matching. Move it out of the way. And we're going to do the same thing here. Start on one mark, back stitch, go to the other mark and back stitch. Now here we have it stitched. So this piece is now stitched on. We have the two little pieces flapping here. And what we're going to do is pick this up and put these two pieces are going to be sewed together. So we just match those and move this out of the way. Now we're going to match our markings here. Let's move it over. Match the markings. Pin the needle out of the pin out of the way, and then we don't have to really mark this point here. You can see that this is open here, and we're going to stitch from this point, back stitch, and stitch all the way here to this point, and that should get us right at the intersection of all these pieces. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, so now we've stitched here, and this is just flapped out of the way, and when we open it, you'll see the beginnings of our flower. And then the next one you'll stitch right here and stitch the same way. Fold this out of the way. and place your pin and stitch your sides. Then you'll stitch these two sides up here like this, where you're flapping this out of the way. You get the idea. You just repeat it. Now, because we're sewing each one of these on separate, I wouldn't press these until the whole flower is finished. So the next one will be, we're going to stitch on this side. So this needs to be folded out of the way. Take your next piece, match the markings, and here we just match where the seam is. You can see that. Here's where I can see the stitches poking through right here. So I'm going to put the mark right in there. And then mark the other end and stitch. Now I'm going to do all the rest and you'll see the finished flower. Now here is the finished flower. All of the sides are pieced, all 6 of them, and all of the pieces are pieced to each other. Now it's time to press. Here's what it looks like from the front. You can virtually press these any way you want. You can press them open if you want. You can press them to one side or the other. The great thing about these are, since you didn't stitch off the edge, these things can go any way. You can take each intersection and go in a circular motion if you want, so you can press this one this way, and this way. And when you do this, you'll get a nice little flat center. It's supposed to be nice. So you'll get something like that, and it's nice and flat. What I normally do is just press these out like this, and then these just get pressed whichever direction they go. So I'm going to press some of them this way and some of them the other way. Right. This part here and this part I pressed in a swirl. And you can see the little swirl right here, and it's nice and flat. So I did that here, here, and here. And on this side, I just pressed it whichever way I wanted to. It just kind of fell in place like that. There's a little bit of bulk here, more than there is here. Now these little swirly ones take a little bit of extra time because you have to pay attention to which way you're swirling. These, they just kind of flop wherever they want to go, and you can press it. So I usually give it a good press from this side, turn it over, and then give it a good press from the other side. So this is how you machine piece hexagons.